In this video, we are going to look at the Psychological Disorders Movie Review paper. This is under the Psychology or Psychological Disorders and Therapy module. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my module, and you can see I'm towards the end of the module. Of course, I'm working through it. I'm reading everything. I'm accessing my extra resources, and I'm also looking at my e-text. When I get to the almost last content page, I will find the Psychological Disorders Movie Review. I will find the essay rubric that will be used to assess this assignment. And I also am going to find some resources that could be helpful. There's a link to the APA. There's a link to the National Institute of Mental Health. There is a link to the updates, that came with the DSM-5. So this is the Diagnostic Manual 5th edition, and it's the one in current use. And then there's also a link to the table of contents for this version of the Diagnostic Manual. Okay, let's see. We're not talking about this, but we're going to look at the movie review here. So for this assignment, you will select a film in which the principal character exhibits disordered behavior. Your assignment is to, number one, watch the film that depicts a character with one of the psychological disorders addressed in our Disorders and Therapy module. Number two, you're writing a formal paper that discusses the movie in relation to the disorder. Include an introduction, conclusion, and well-developed paragraph with supporting details. Download the assignment from the sidebar for instructions of a list of approved movies and submit when completed. Follow APA format for your review. One thing I would like to note real quick before we look at that in more detail, your rubric is going to refer to MLA format, but that is a typo, and it should be for this assignment APA. In psychology, everything is APA. So please ignore that MLA designation. It is APA. And I'll try to put another note in the announcements for that as well. All right, let's go to the movie review assignment and review it. So you're going to select a film in which the principal character exhibits disordered behavior. Where are my list of films? Well, here's a few. So let's go over the disclaimer here. So please use discretion in selecting something that will not be offensive to you. That's important. Please be aware that some movies contain some violence and strong language. Each movie does deal with some aspect of a psychological disorder that we have discussed, and the point of the assignment is for you to recognize and relate what you see in the movie to what you've learned about disorders and treatments in this course. Hey, you get to say you're studying by watching a movie. Can't get better than that. And so here are the list of movies and disorders. So for example, I'm just going to look at the first one. You are to look over this list on your own. I'm not going to read all these to you, but for the first one is Gone with the Wind. Vivian Lee is the actress who is exhibiting narcissistic personality disorder. So you know that you're focusing on the character of Scarlett if you're watching this movie. And that's basically how you're going to figure that out. And if you need a little bit of more information about these movies, especially if you want to make sure that it's not something that's offensive to you, there's a great site called Common Sense Media. And if you go to Common Sense Media and just type in the name of the movie, it's going to give you a breakdown of the ratings of the movie, the amount of violence, the amount of language, things of that nature. So that could help guide you in your choice as well. Once you've chosen your movie, you're going to get to the meat of the paper. So in your paper, include the following items. Identify the movie and the main characters. Is the movie based on a true story? If so, identify the person. Identify the main character and the name for the character's personality disorder. Choose from the list. Describe at least two scenes in which the main character of the movie demonstrates the disorder, and describe the exhibited symptoms of the disorder. Then you're going to look at how accurate the portrayal is when you compare it to the DSM-5 or the National Institute of Mental Health. And remember, there's links to those resources on the module page. Be specific, and please give specific examples of correctness or discrepancies. If the subject of the movie received treatment for the disorder, describe the treatment and evaluate how effective it was. If the character did not receive treatment based on your studies, what treatment would you recommend? How is watching the movie, or how has it enhanced your understanding of the psychological disorder and treatment? Include a page with at least a minimum of 3 sources in APA format. Your e-textbook could be one of the sources. And then here's just a list of the psychological disorders from the DSM-5. And so really, as you're writing this paper, you will use this kind of as your quote-unquote checklist of what it is that you need to include, in addition to your sources and citations.